we're going to start off this podcast ranting about renting cars.
Renting cars, specifically. Now, I've dealt with Enterprise once before, and that's who we're going with to go to Florida, right?
Right.
We've kind of decided.
I don't really care if we switch last minute, but
I kind of want to. Their prices are fair, and it's not the competitor, although I...
Hertz?
Not Hertz, it's...
I don't even know who rents cars, really.
Car rental place. It's kind of on that corner by the warehouse. There's a lot of
There's a lot of really small names, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this one's a fairly big name. Maybe I'll give them a... I'll try to figure it out as I'm talking. Anyways, the good experience I had with Enterprise was when I was 21. I had my Chevy Optra, and something went wrong. And Brian Cullen, as annoying as they are now, they are unbelievably annoying and relentless, even though I don't have a Chevy anymore. They still call me saying that scheduled maintenance is due. Like, it probably is. Not my problem. And I tell them not to call.
Yeah.
But they still continuously call. Now, when I went to Brian Cullen, I'm like, I need a car. I was doing baby photos at that point. So like, well, get you set up with one. I was under 25. It didn't cost me anything, but they got me a car from Enterprise, just as a courtesy thing. Brian Cullen is extremely expensive in their service, as are most dealerships, so I think it's just something they offer. But yeah, that was good. The next car rental place, which, if I go car rental, St. Paul Street...
I guess you're going to have to look through several options of...
St. Catharines, budget car rental.
Budget car, okay.
Okay? Orange and blue. That's their coloring.
Of the cars or the branding?
The brand.
Okay. So that'd be a really odd selection of colors.
We rent a car to go to PEI, right? The wedding, it was neat. I didn't want to put the kilometers on the car. Keela didn't have a car at that point, and Justin was Justin. He had a car, but God forbid we drive in that.
You don't want to drive that car.
Maybe to Toronto.
Yeah.
So we decided to rent a car. The bride and groom pay for it. It's fine. We're on a schedule, obviously. We have a lot of ground to cover. The first day was Ontario to New Brunswick or something like that. Yeah, it was New Brunswick. We get to the car rental place. Our car isn't there. Because
they rented it.
I understand that they rented it. It's kind of like that timeline where, the people are late bringing it back, which sucks.
I've been warned about such a thing.
Oh, I know. That's why getting it on noon a day ahead for Florida is good, because even if it takes Tila 2 hours to get it sorted out, at least we're not waiting.
Yes.
Right?
No, we don't want to do it in the morning or something.
Well, we can't. Everything is closed in the morning.
Open. Yeah.
So we're waiting there. As we're waiting there, multiple people come in with problems. They're all backed up. So it's like these people, like airplane tickets, they overbook, they double booked,
Double booking a rental car is a lot worse than double booking a seat.
I guess theoretically, if you're paying when you come, they must get a reasonably high percentage of people that just don't show up.
Yeah, I guess.
Because Enterprise gives me the option to pay when I come, which, depending on how Tila's, work life works out, I may have to, at least, I don't know how we're going to do that. She needs to, because she's the one that's getting it on Saturday.
Yep. Figure it out.
You're finally like, okay, we'll send the exact same car that you wanted from Niagara Falls. Like, well, if it was going to be in Niagara Falls, could have told us. We could have been in Niagara Falls. So just a hassle. It comes, it's dirty, he has to clean it out. Then, credit card. He can't accept my credit card.
Why can't he accept your credit card?
Because he didn't have... What was it? He didn't have a swipe. It was only a tap. It was contactless. And I didn't have tap.
To rent a car for more than a couple days, that's going to be over $100, and tap doesn't work for increments over $100 in most situations.
Yeah, I don't know how.
So how would you rent your car with tap? How can anybody do that?
I don't know. Maybe have it the other way around.
He just had a strip, and you had to...
Maybe my strip didn't work.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a you problem now.
That does sound like a me problem.
Tone of this entirely.
Oh, it does. What did we have to do? Anyways, there's that. He wouldn't take prepaid MasterCard, obviously. And then there was an insurance thing. Like it was just I would think that it would be nice, especially if you're pre-planning. You drive to the place. Enterprise has great commercials where you just drive up and take your car, or sign a form, walk around the car saying, "Hey, this is good."
You can get a U-Haul about that fast.
So
kind of nice.
I mean, I guess the car was great, and it was no problem returning it. We didn't have any problems. Great on gas.
Yeah, Volkswagen Jetta was.
Yeah,
we rented. Yeah,
saved a bit of money on gas, so we all. I mean, I was happy about that because I was doing the books as we were going because I knew what we had budgeted for hotels and gas and food and whatnot. So it was good to have a little bit more wiggle room there. But the most disappointing part, okay, the credit card was my fault. You could argue. It's the 2-hour wait time. That's the main problem. Because if we're leaving at, I forget what time we were leaving at. We had it scheduled so we would avoid traffic in Toronto and in Quebec. You push us back 2 hours. We still missed the traffic in Toronto. But we hit Quebec. We hit Quebec hard. And that put us back further. So it's annoying for something like that. At least with this trip, there's not a bride at the end of the trip. So if we do get a few hours behind, that's okay. That being said, based on our route and based on what Google says as far as congestion goes, I mean, at worst, we plan for it to be a 12-hour drive. It says it can be done in 10 hours and 30 minutes. So
it should be fine.
Giant wiggle room, giant amount of wiggle room. It'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
It never leave stop places.
Yeah.
Be fun going to Florida in a week.
Yeah, 1 week from tonight we'll be on a beach.
Yeah. Instantaneously for you, essentially, if you just watch podcast to podcast.
Except 5 weeks from now, technically.
Wow. Yeah, we're catching.
Happy episode
we're catching
10,
up,
by the way.
Yeah.
How are we catching up?
But we're gonna post ones while we're gone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep
we're
posting.
gonna film ones while we're gone.
But we gotta post them faster.
We should have a dump week. We should either. That sounds
just
bad.
post. No. Just instead of posting every week, you just post like every 4 days for a bit or something.
We could do that. What it would be nice before we do that. Well, let's worry about that when we come back because it'd be nice to have multiple ones in the can. Because as it's been right now, I've just been doing it on a week-to-week basis. But now that I've got a few ready to go, I'll just get them out. Hopefully, episode 8, which is hilarious.
That's the one that I'm gonna really sit down and just watch myself.
It's unbelievable the transition from being kind of there to zonked at the end. But yeah, that's it. We should catch up. That being said, this week and last week, the topics we were talking about were still current. Episode 4, we were talking about the Stormy Daniels case with Donald Trump.
Yeah, the news cycle's getting longer, it seems. I don't know if that's a trend in general, but like people was like, it's just a 24-hour news cycle. No, they're dragging everything out now, like for the months upon months. Anything that's done by Trump or anybody else seemingly in his circle, dragged out long time.
We didn't break the bank on views or anything like that, but the 60 Minutes premiered, the interview with Stormy Daniels, premiered on the Sunday, and then our next one, episode 4, with the talk about Stormy Daniels, premiered on the Monday, and nothing had really changed. She had sex. We said allegedly, but at that point it was basically like, yeah, pretty much. Did you hear the interview at all? Did you? So she explains it, and
I heard roughly that no new information was divulged.
No new information about the actual sexual act. She was
really care about that, but
she was kind of flirty with him at the beginning. He showed her a magazine with his face on it. She was like, "Do you really get off talking about yourself?"
I know, how narcissistic is he? I mean, we know how narcissistic he is, but be like, "Look at this. This is me on a magazine. Don't you want me?"
So she took the magazine, was like, "Drop them. I'm going to spank you."
Wow.
Yeah, she got the President of the United States to drop his pants. And he did. And after that, she said that he went to regular conversation. He stopped was almost like a domination type thing where he stopped talking about himself and he let it continue. They talked. They did watch Shark Week. She goes into the room, or she goes into the washroom, comes back. He's in his underwear. And in her mind, that being said, in the interview, it was kind of weird because she was very, very, very adamant about this. She had said, you know, in my head, I was like, oh, God, now I got to do this. She was like, I did it from my own free will. I wasn't forced into it. I'm not like that. But I'm like, but you in your mind, if you're saying, well, now I have to do this, there's some oppression there.
Yeah.
So they had sex once. They didn't have sex again, apparently. Although allegedly she must have some sort of penis picture or something of him. They met up again to talk.
She said that?
She says she has pictures that he has sent, which kind of weird thinking about the president sending a dick pic, but it is what it is.
I wonder if he's the first president who sent a dick pic.
I'm sure Obama did.
You think so?
Well, actually,
because when he was a youth,
he
wouldn't have had cell phones, and as a president, he already had a wife and hasn't really been embroiled in that kind of scandal.
That's true. And the other thing he said is, because they're allowed to have cell phones, obviously.
Yeah.
And he had said that he had a BlackBerry, I think, or an iPhone, one or the other. And it was so
Obama?
heavily, yeah.
Yeah, it started with a BlackBerry, anyways.
And I think he moved up to an iPhone.
It was because of BlackBerry's security measures, so they were pretty good for a long time.
But so heavily modified because obviously the security. So I suppose, yeah, he probably couldn't have sent a dick pic, but I bet he has now. It's like, yeah, Michelle. But
that's something I've never thought about.
Not that you ever would.
No.
But yeah, that's kind of where it stands. She said she was threatened for her life afterwards because he...
By Trump or by somebody associated to him?
By somebody who is allegedly associated to them. They can't prove that he is, but it was very, very mobster-like. She was in Vegas with her child going to an aerobics class or something, and she had said, this was after the NDA was brought up, she had said somebody walked up and said, you know, you should really sign that thing about Trump. And then he looked in the car and back at her and he said, it's a cute little girl. Shame if something happened to her. And it sounds so much out of a movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
That it almost sounds fake, but then I'm pretty on the straight and narrow, so I don't know how things are really done.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of gangsters and people, mobsters would copy movie dialogue. Why not?
You want to feel badass.
Yeah. Because that's you. You get to be that fictional character.
Mm-hmm. Huh. So. And then last week, again, gun control, which is still a hot button.
In Canada, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have new Canadian federal laws, but now there's a lot of people talking out like we need to loosen restrictions and other people saying that there needs to be more. But nothing's changed here. It's mostly in the States that things are happening.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that's different this time is there is more of a conversation about it. Normally at this point, being a month after.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more than a month because that shooting was February 14th. That was Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So you're almost at 2 months and they're still talking about it. The victims are still on TV. They're still going at it. So that's good. That's good for them. Some of them are being denied acceptance to college for some reason.
It's like a reality TV show at this point.
So, I don't know.
I don't know what to make of it either.
Well, we're still here. I don't ever really worry about gun violence at all.
I would say in day-to-day life, there is no situation in which I am placed, other than when I'm next to a police officer, that I would even see a gun in public ever,
Exactly.
let alone hear gunshots or anything. I don't know, it's just an unheard of thing in a small suburb in, the Niagara region to hear anything like that. Yeah. Now, occasionally something does break the news, like, I don't know.
There was a shooting at one of the nightclubs in the Falls.
Yeah.
There was a shooting at the club in Thorold, whatever it is called. I can't remember.
Yes. I don't know what it's called either. Yeah. And then there's quite a bit of gang violence in the inner cities and things like that.
Oh, I know.
But in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, I don't think gangs have much power here, at least. Or
You want to know the saddest gang you've ever seen?
what's that?
You see them sometimes. I went to school with a few of them. You get the gangs of Tilsonburg. You want to be a gang member in a tobacco town?
I think we've talked about this before.
It's unbelievable. You walk around, people think they're so badass. They'll break into vape shops. Ooh.
Break into a vape.
Like,
They're gonna steal the clouds.
yeah. They break into a car wash type thing.
Steal soap? What are you gonna steal at a car wash?
E-bikes. And batteries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just stuff like that. You wonder, it'd be a reality check if they were like, you know what? I've conquered this town. It's time to conquer Toronto. It's like a next level shit.
Be a good
go
movie.
to Toronto.
It'd be a good idea for a little movie.
It would be. You go to Toronto and you're like, fuck, I'm a bad gangster. What is this? Somebody just got shot.
Yep.
I'm going to go rob a vape store. Hell's this?
There's got to be a lot of gun owners in Tilsonburg. There's so much land to shoot on.
Yeah, but people go home at night. There's no security.
Yeah.
Especially at a vape shop owned by hipsters.
No, I'm just saying, like, for wannabe gangsters in Tilsonburg, there's got to be access to guns. Yeah.
Not handguns, nothing fun like gangsters would.
Yeah. Probably the nearest handgun shop is a decent drive away.
Probably. There was a high-speed chase on Saturday night. Guy evaded the cops, drove out of Tilsonburg, going like 150 down the highway, down the 80 highway, and then wrapped himself around the tree about 15 minutes away.
Sounds about right. Hard to drive those roads really quick.
Oh, yeah.
They're windy.
So he got airlifted to a London hospital with life-threatening injuries with police escort, obviously.
And government-funded healthcare.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to nurse him back to health so he can
prosecute them.
Be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
I heard somebody in Welland, I think it was today, got busted in a school zone doing like 130 kilometers an hour or something.
I've got a movie pitch idea for you after. I won't talk about it here, but it has something to do with that.
Okay.
It's a very good idea. It's kind of like Mighty Ducks, but no hockey.
I don't know where that would go.
Oh, I'll tell you. I think you might like it.
I'm willing to hear it.
Yeah, speeding, they'll give you a little bit of leniency in any place but school zones or like family-friendly.
I should add, this was like, I think an 18-year-old kid who was doing it. So probably doesn't have his full license. Probably will never get his full license. And yeah, car's probably impounded. And there's lots that goes along with that for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned that because it was something I was going to talk about. And this isn't a funny thing that happened on the way to the podcast.
Oh, I think I know that this is what you saw this on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at some point, it probably would have been mentioned that at Beatty's at one point, I met a guy, a young, basically at this point, I'm 26. I can call him a kid. He was young.
Mm-hmm.
Came in, needed to get his iPad Pro fixed. They fixed it for him. And when I was showing him the diagnostic, I saw on his wallpaper that he had some very similar college courses to what I took. So I took a gamble thinking that he was in a broadcasting course. So as we were walking, I asked him, what course are you in? He's like, well, I'm in film production, like BRTF. Shout out to BRTF.
And Niagara College.
And he's like, yeah, only because I'm trying to make my parents happy. I'm like, do you like it? He's like, it's okay. And I know I scared him when I said that I was a graduate from 5 years ago. He's like, well, what are you doing? So I talked up.
This is so cyclical because I think we've talked about this exact situation on the podcast before.
Talked it up. I said, I did work in Italy. I have my own business. It's growing and stuff like that. And he gave me his number and we were going to do business together.
And now you can't call it.
Well, I sent an email out to him. I always do it. I do it at just the wrong time. Sent an email out at the last minute. And he was in a car accident last Wednesday. Maybe a little bit on the arrogant side, but nobody at 22 deserves to end their life like that.
No. Man, seems to be the killer for people our age. We don't know enough like crazy party animals to be dying of drug overdoses and stabbings and stuff, but we know a lot of people that seem to die in car accidents.
And this one, unlike the other one that I was close to,
Also related to Beatties.
also related to Beatties and Niagara College.
Yes.
And the arts and so much.
Young dying artists.
Yeah. Hopefully they contributed something.
Hopefully.
Like something artistic that years from now can be uncovered and be like, this was actually pretty good.
I think we should ask G about that because they were at the point of working at a collaboration from what I heard.
But it's funny because we're getting... It sounds weird because I only have like 3 points of contact in that, 4 if you consider the other person.
Yeah.
But we're getting in this weird point where we know, or we're beginning to know a lot of artists, and it's amazing and kind of depressing how many artists know each other and how much we may have missed out on because we didn't get to know them. Not in the sense that we'll never get to know this young guy who died, but in the sense that maybe had we known G and them 3 years ago, we could have already been collaborating on something different, something better. Or Alex Kazam, a little bit of a shout out there. Same thing. Been working with him a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the fear of lost time, basically.
Well, whenever something like this happens, I always get thinking, because like 23, you're like life is either about to get really good because you're lucky or you have skill, or you're about to hit like the sad dose of reality that it wasn't all you thought it was going to be, but nobody deserves, even if it was his fault. All the articles do say that speeding was a major factor, but they don't say.
Was it just a single vehicle?
It was a 2-vehicle accident. Okay. His car, which,
yeah,
again, based on the description, when you start picturing it, like the jaws of life was used, and he was mangled.
Yeah,
he hit a construction vehicle.
Okay,
he didn't stand a chance.
No.
So, that is tragic and sad. And I mean, at that age, he might have had a job lined up for the summer, like a good job. We don't know. So, I mean, it is unfortunate. And I'm glad that given the recent few situations with Tila's car accident and your small little fender bender, that everybody in my close circle is okay. Because
Tila's was bad. I almost expect myself at this point to just get in a minor fender bender like every 2 years, which my insurance company will probably just drop me the next time I do it. But just because it's so weird, because I consider myself a careful driver, which I'm sure lots of people who aren't careful drivers consider themselves to be careful drivers. But it's always a situation where like I don't even know what I could have done to avoid this.
I know you said that.
Yeah,
and things like that. Thankfully, everything I've been in has been small or off the insurance because it hasn't been worth it.
Yeah.
But the only time that it was really my fault outside of speeding tickets, like I've mentioned, is we were stop-and-go traffic on the way back to St. Catharines on the highway from Toronto, and the person in front of me stopped as I was still going. I didn't stop in time.
Yep, I did that one the first time.
Yep, and I got it. Well, actually, I didn't even get it fixed because it was all cosmetic. That's why my front end doesn't look as nice. She never called. It was a rental. There was no financial damage. I was told by her to go to there's a police collision reporting center in Burlington. So I was told to go to there, and I went.
If the police never came for the original accident.
But I went to the one in Toronto, and they said, go to the one in Burlington. We're closed now. Yeah. So the next day I went to Burlington, and I said, this is what happened. This. He went, looked at my car. It's like, you should have just stayed in bed. Like, there's no reason for you to be here.
No.
I'm just doing what I'm told. Yes, it was a waste of time, but at the same time, it's better to be safe than sorry for something like that.
Usually, if you're going to report a collision, it would have been above the value, or there would have been injuries or something.
Small value.
In which case, the police should have been involved to begin with anyways, just to make a proper field report of the accident with both parties present, kind of thing.
My car took all the damage because I hit her trailer hitch.
Oh.
So yeah, you couldn't hurt it. That's why mine's dented. She was fine. Trailer hitch. And I think it was a rental car, too. So.
Yeah.
But she keeps... she hasn't in a while. but she has occasionally. It's been well over a year since the car accident. The car, good little bump. And about 6 months ago was the last time that she viewed me on LinkedIn. For about 6 months.
I love LinkedIn because you can see when people view your...
And it doesn't matter how many times they do it. If they do it, done. So she keeps viewing. I'm like, get lost. You're not going to send me a message. Move on.
Maybe it's like one of those misconnection things where she just wants to get to know you, but now she's too afraid to contact you.
Maybe I should check Craigslist.
Maybe.
I'm looking for the guy that hit my rental car.
On the topic of personal damages, and also on the topic of get Jesse's heart racing, I'm going to pull a prop here. So, we jointly own a drone. If you'll notice, there's more scuffs on this drone than there were when you gave it back to me and I took it. So, there's a bit of a story. I last got this drone in order to do some aerial photography at a family cottage. And
before we continue with this story, it still works fine?
Oh, there's a story to it. I decided before that I was going to do a little bit of just a test flight just to mess around with something. And I didn't even get the chance to go out to do said the thing that I wanted to do. I went to go fly it in my parents' backyard. And I would say in about a 3-second time span, the drone was up in the air. I looked back at the controller, and then I went to go do something, looked back up, and the wind had blown it directly into the brick wall of the house. So, upon doing so, 2 of the rotors broke. 2 of them are damaged, but they're still functional. It still works. And the gimbal was laying on this. It was completely it looked like it had been torn off. It was dangling by a thread. I then looked at it and said, well, fuck. Now I have to spend $1,500 on a new drone. But Tila was kind of supportive and thought that I could fix it, even though I didn't think I could do that. So I spent a couple of weeks just frantically buying tools that I didn't already have because they're meant to work on things that are so extremely small. And I initially ordered a part, which is it's a plastic piece that's a vibration mount, which I thought that was the only thing that was broken. So I placed that, it went on fine, turned it on, and the gimbal proceeded to violently rock and smash back and forth. And then luckily, because the software in DJI's suite is so over-encompassing, it told me that I had a motor overload issue. And I looked that up. And everybody said that's because there is a cable transmitting information to the gimbal that is damaged. It's very easily damaged. You wouldn't be able to see the damage itself. So I ordered that cable. And oh my God, I took that gimbal apart piece by piece and replaced the cable like 3 times because I couldn't get the cable to sit properly. It was dangling in a position that would get caught, and I was not going to turn a drone on if I thought there was a chance of tearing the cable again. So I did it about 3 times, got it right, turned it on, and now we have a working drone again. And oh my God, that has stressed me out more than anything in my life. But also know that if I couldn't have done that, I would have totally replaced the drone.
So through all that, you're now, and I ask this as a professional to a professional.
Yes.
If we got contacted for a drone video shoot tomorrow,
I would buy one.
No,
one day shipping.
Would you feel comfortable using that?
Absolutely. It's in the same condition as it was before.
Minus the blades. They're looking a little scuffed.
I'll buy a new set of blades. Those are really cheap. I didn't bother just because I didn't think it would affect the flying to begin with.
It shouldn't.
No.
Okay, that's good because with Florida coming up, it would have been depressing if we were.
Oh no! Under every situation, if we had to use a drone and I did not have this fixed by that time, I guess I'm out $1,500. No problem. Not a big
at least
deal.
You could do it handy on the DJI app.
It's true. Just click the button that pops up every time you open the app. Would you like to buy a new drone? Because they know it. They know you crashed your drone, didn't you?
And you've flown it since it was working?
Yes. I just did a little bit of flying here and there. Also, good news, the cover that covers the piece that would have prevented the entire thing happening in the first place arrived the day I got back. So that was there. And it's just as a pain in the ass as ever to get off, and it was the reason why I broke it in the first place. I typically use a screwdriver to open it now.
What about the piece come from China yet?
Well, the one that holds the gimbal did come from China, but we don't need it because this aftermarket version has it built in. So that actually holds the gimbal still. See, it hooks around the back, and it keeps it sort of in the front area.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, smart. You think DJI, the people who make it, could make it one piece, but no, they make it two. And yes, the battery is scratched because
that's fine.
Jesus Christ, it fell 10 feet.
Yeah.
And it disintegrated. They make these things so finicky.
Don't ever lose eyeline.
Eyeline? Oh, line of sight. No, I mean, it was 10 feet above my head, but the wind blew it into a brick wall, and I did not expect it to. So
I gotta go to Henry's this week. If I see, do you think we could get some new ones before Florida, just in case?
I'd get them on Amazon before we go to Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I would.
I'm not terribly worried. Plus, they had the propellers. Luckily, are something that you could buy in a camera store anywhere, just because people break them all the time.
Yes. Well, that's good. You have a great way of storytelling in the sense that I didn't freak out because I assumed that you wouldn't tell me that we broke it completely.
I have a tendency, if I'm never really scared of the repercussions of damaging something, as long, and it pretty much, I'm willing to replace it or do whatever I can to fix it, which fixing it, thank God I did that, because that was like
14. How much did it cost?
Probably $100 and about 20 hours of my time.
So a lot on the time.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, it's a new thing that I had never done before. But no, I'm never going to make everybody scared about an issue until I can either rectify it one way or another. So, yeah. It was an adventure. And now I feel like I'm entirely qualified to take apart and replace literally anything on this drone. Because the gimbal is the most finicky thing in the world. You need 3 hands to hold the thing while you have a 4th hand. I literally had to use my mouth on the end of a screwdriver to stabilize the screwdriver and push it down because especially when you're putting the screws back in, it just buckles and the screw goes sideways. Although I have a magnetic screwdriver, thank God for that. If I didn't, I could not have done what I did.
Kudos to Tila for keeping that secret.
And I told literally everybody else but you.
Like Justin?
No, I guess not. All my coworkers and my family.
Well, I'm still thankful you're alive, even though I don't like being out of the loop on something like that. But
I don't know. I just like the chance to fix something first.
So you stone-faced your way all through a business meeting, talking about values of companies, knowing that there could have been a $1,500 purchase that needed to be done again.
Yeah, but it would be my fault, and I'd do it. So, not a big deal. I mean, and I have all the tools to work on this thing later, because inevitably, I feel like we're probably going to break something, which is fine, because it's meant to be used, not to put it in a cabinet or something. So I got all that. And the parts are not terribly expensive. The stabilizing piece, I had to order a couple things that I didn't want that came with extra parts, but it was like $30. And the cable was more expensive. I think the cable was probably a little bit over 30 as well.
Was it aftermarket, or did you have to buy like DJI branded?
Let me think. The plastic plate that it sits on wasn't DJI, but I think the cable was. It has the same markers as DJI. Just because I guess anybody can make plastic. And in fact, the aftermarket stuff is usually better because like even this little thing that cost $1 for the cover, they put in something that DJI probably should have put in. They thought I don't know. It's more efficient than having 2 pieces.
I would wonder why DJI did it that way. It's more effective to do it plastic-wise. You would think there's a reasoning as to why they did it like that.
I think the only way to get an answer on that would be to talk to somebody that works for DJI, part of the engineering team, because really...
Maybe because now it's going to be loose when we're trying to put on filters.
Loose?
Well, because we can't... With the plastic part on before, when we were putting on filters, it would be stable. Now it's just a free-floating gimbal.
Oh, you mean when you're... Okay.
So I think there's merit to that.
Gimbal also surprisingly durable. Like you can manhandle thing. Kind of like babies. People think babies are delicate.
Well, they're not.
No.
that gimbal has to be good because it can face wind quite a bit.
Yes.
Like right off the bat, so it has to have a good motor to
I don't
counterbalance the wind.
I don't even necessarily mean that. I mean, like, it's hanging on. It's the way that it's set up. Like, if any plastic breaks or anything, it's just dangling by wires, which is very disconcerting. But the gimbal itself, it's I'm gonna say a little bit over 10 screws that hold together all the plastic coverings. Solid. You can squish it in your hand. You can move things around. It feels like it's not gonna break.
So that's good.
I'm impressed with the quality, anyways.
Well, I would hope so. What do you think of that $99 toy they came out with?
DJI did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into this much. I'd like to hear about it.
It's very interesting. It's smart because everybody else but DJI was doing cheaper knockoff, not knockoffs, but cheaper drones.
I went to Best Buy and I saw a couple of them last week.
And now DJI has a $99 one that has some of the same features as both the Mavic and the Spark, in the sense that you can take selfies with it. You can put your hands like this and have it take a picture. It'll active track to a certain extent and whatnot.
What is the quality compared to the Spark? Because the Spark
720.
But the Spark's 720 too, though. So it's the Tello. Is that the one?
I think so.
Yeah, I saw a little. I've seen headlines for it, but I haven't really looked into it all.
The only thing that's odd is the drone itself is advertised in the commercial. They're outside with it.
Yeah.
It is advertised as an indoor mostly drone, unless the weather conditions are stable. So it will be light.
Yeah. It
13-minute flight time, which is pretty good.
That's fine. Yeah. Not if you're not using professional use, you're gonna be.
That was the Phantom 2's flight time, which is more like
wow. That's low.
15.
Get the shot quick, yeah.
But really, we now have power. We talked about this before about how quickly we've developed, and now with 2 batteries in perfect conditions, you have an hour of flight time. What type of videography do you really need to do in an hour? Lots of establishing shots.
Yeah.
But like that's a long time.
It's a couple takes of if you had a long tracking shot. Let's just say you followed a vehicle into some kind of compound at the beginning of the movie, and it was where the credits were rolling, so it's like a minute shot. To get that minute shot right, you could take 30 takes,
right,
if necessary.
And if you don't get it the first time, you charge up the batteries again, and thank God you're not paying $800 to rent a helicopter.
Yeah.
Right? Like all that is
small price to pay.
Is really neat. You wonder where they're going to go next. I mean, the Mavic Pro is already out.
Shutter drop. It was on the 70. Is that still going? Maybe the batteries that were charged were not so charged. Anyways, if anybody needs to fix anything on the drone, I think you would be surprised with how much help you can get from just watching YouTube videos of people doing the same thing. And typically, I tend to go to the ones that have the best camera angles, even if the person explaining it is not so coherent, just because you can see each individual screw or whatever you have to take apart. Makes it much easier. Plus, always watch the video in full ahead of time just so you have an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Yeah, no, it's not. And also the warrant, I don't even know what it is. DJI Care, they have a system where you can pay in, I guess they would service your drone. Everybody recommends not to get that because it doesn't cover you for just about anything. And I think we're going to come back after a short break. Yeah. So see you in an instant.
The power of editing.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Tim Hortons and Full Bladders.
Yeah, I was finishing a bottle of water on my way here just to try to flush out my system, make me feel better.
From what?
I don't know. I felt fine this morning. I got a kind of a raspy voice during work.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm not stuffed up. But I can feel something in my head. Like I'm a little woozy. I should probably just go to bed, take some medicine, fall asleep.
If you're going to get sick, now is prime time and get it over with before Florida.
Well, that's just it. It seems... I remember reading an article about people who go into vacation mode, and when you're constantly working, your body doesn't have time to get sick. Sometimes. Because there is a mental aspect to it. And I've been getting excited. I've been planning. It's been fun. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for Cracker Barrel. Imagine that. A fat guy excited for fried chicken.
It's good every time we go.
It's really good.
I think we've gotten together once, but
yeah,
I've been a couple times.
But just think, like, that sounds awesome after waking up or before 5 and driving. Nice little Cracker Barrel in Cleveland.
It'll be good.
Yeah, actually, it's just Ohio. I can't remember where. But
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cracker Barrel's nice because it is that place. It's right off the highway. I didn't have to look very far. It was just dependent on when we wanted to eat.
I've never been there for breakfast, so I'm excited for that.
Good breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, about as good as a American-style breakfast can get. It's not healthy, but it's hearty.
Yeah. I that'd be an interesting thing on a Euro trip, is to try all the different breakfast foods of the different... Because I imagine that would vary a lot more. Even
grapefruit juice.
I like grapefruit juice.
I hate it. And in Europe, like in Rome, they don't have orange juice.
I like orange juice better.
Oh, I love orange juice. And there'd be a jug of water and something that looked orange. And it's disappointing when it's grapefruit.
Yeah, if it's not what you're expecting, I suppose.
But no, just a little bit of a head cold. If I'm stuffed up tomorrow, I'll know I'll need to really fight it. But right now, I've still got things I have to do, but I'll still sleep well tonight. I'm tired, so I can tell that it's affecting me. But I've got to have a clear head. I always seem to get sick when I travel a bit. That being said, right now the weather is starting to finally change, so it seems to be my prime time to get sick. We've mentioned that before.
Because the weather's changing?
Yeah, I seem to get sick at climate, like in the fall and in the spring.
Wow, I mean, that's most people.
Winter.
I wonder what the weather is going to be like when we leave. Let's see. Next Sunday, it's going to be 3 degrees.
That's nice.
I'll be glad to be gone.
Yeah, but you know what? Right now, on a balmy, clear evening in Panama City.
Yeah.
Beach.
Hopefully. Let me guess. Right now, this time of day, maybe 19 degrees.
Okay. Let me just make sure that it was not Panama City. Panama City, Florida.
Yes,
that would have been...
Not the Isthmus of Panama.
Which would be fun to go to. But
yes. I have a cousin that's going, actually.
And nice. Warm. It's also only 9:30 there. Or 9 o'clock there.
Different times. Okay. Yeah.
A nice warm 21 degrees. Clear.
2 degrees off.
Yeah.
Not bad.
And Monday, when we arrive, is supposed to be thunderstorms.
That's fine.
But 26 degrees.
Florida thunderstorms are cool.
They last 20 minutes. The sun
but they
comes
go
out.
hard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Be fun to drive in. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
I've been saving up a few things. However, some of them are actually right from today, actually. But rekindling my love, which is still a growing love of photography, I didn't know how I was going to do it. Shooting with you, fun. Hiking with you is fun. Golfing, I got my golf clubs.
Yeah, nice.
I picked them up. It's a full set, and it's my length, so I'll be good to go. And now that Melissa is wanting to learn more photos, we're actually going out, which I very rarely did before. And we're going out to take photos. Like we went to Port Dalhousie. We shot when she was in Tillsonburg 2 weeks ago, and then just going for a walk in one of the parks in St. Catharines and just kind of teaching her the fundamentals. And I've been very happy because I've been able to get some shots that I like, and then also be able to show her. The first time, all my cameras are naturally set to shoot RAW, but for some reason the 60D was switched to just JPEG. I must have did a factory reset on it when we added the Magic Lantern. So her first 2 sets were JPEG.
Wow, that'd be
which
good.
Is fine, because
still edit JPEG just fine.
And learning the fundamentals, you would hope that the photos that she wanted to get were done right. So it's good. And I really like my Leicas.
I'm kind of jealous. I think there's only I could probably count on my hands how many times I've gotten to go up shooting photos with Tila, and she's brought her camera. Almost never brings her camera to do anything at all.
She'll bring a cell phone.
Yeah, and she's good with her cell phone.
Yeah.
But it's never a photo thing. It's just, I'm here. There's something I want to take a picture of. Oh, my cell phone's here.
No, it's really good, and she's getting to the point. We went to Port Dalhousie because we're going to be on a beach next week. So, like, I want to get a good sunset photo.
Yeah.
I want to get a good beach photo again because I know I've changed since Cuba last year. And we went to the beach, and it was nice. And I like my lighthouse. My lighthouse is now hanging. It looks good.
That quick, I guess, when you work at a print shop.
Get it printed, hang it, and I realize that now that I'm enjoying it, if I like a photo, I'll get it printed, but I'll keep the other ones. And that way, over the course of 1 year or 2 years, I'll eventually have a collection of these giant portraits, and you'll see a natural development over time. Plus, pictures are so neat. You can just put them behind, and it doesn't add that much space.
I think I was going to start doing something similar like that back in the bedroom at my parents' house. Because I got I wrapped halfway around the room, and I was going to try to fill up all the wall space with photos, and I didn't get very far. Although I think if I had if I certainly printed out all the photos that I like that I've ever taken, it could fill a room quite easily.
I had a friend who did that. She never took photos, but it was all like prom photos and just life photos. But it was...
You don't need to paint a room if you got that, I guess.
It was amazing. Then when she moved, she took them all down and started the collage again. Now that we're 26, it's a bit of an interesting decorating choice when you go and you realize, shit, we've been friends for this long. There's me as a kid. There's me as your prom date. Shout out to the prom date. Kind of a little in-joke for her. Mm-hmm. No, that is neat. It's fun. And since this is going to be done 5 weeks before, a little bit of money saved up, I think it would be good because that way, if I buy at least a bottom of the barrel kind of camera to get the job done, and we need it, we would have it. But I'm thinking before Florida, I just want to buy, like Melissa, a small little DSLR. Might be a little bit early, I don't know. But
you don't think that the T2i would make sense for something like that?
T2i would, but we have a use for it.
We're not using it right now.
We have the T2i here. I'd get it charged up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then strike that. Although the idea had crossed my mind.
Here's the thing. What are you gonna buy? A Rebel SL2 or something? Like
I found a T5 for $350.
T2i is better than a T5. I'm gonna say just from the ergonomics. That's the thing. All the things that matter really for why you would use a DSLR in the first place haven't changed in like 6 years. Even longer than that, I'd say. Probably since like 2010, maybe 2009. It's been a while. You really, you don't need a heck of a lot to start out for sure.
No.
Even as a professional shooter, I could see myself not upgrading my equipment for another year at least.
Oh yeah, I know. I was thinking kind of ways to double dip in the sense that if I got another one,
you'd have another camera to play with.
Well, because right now the 60D, its lens that it always had, which was the 18 to 250, or the 18
decent lens.
The gear in the video stabilization is wonky. It crapped out on the last wedding, so I have to buy a new lens. And I think if I have to buy a new lens, just have another camera to shoot with. That way, it's always good to have backups.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if I absolutely needed it, even the camera that Beatty's has would work as a backup in the back of the room type camera. It'll shoot 30 frames per second. So.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. It's going to be brand new, but...
What if you got something... I'm going to go on the more, I don't know, trendy side. And what if it was like a Fujifilm camera or something? Interchangeable lenses still, but it would be a different system. All the same functionality. You still get all the manual controls. But it's almost the kind of thing that, like, I think a lot of people just want to carry around with them more. It's much more compact. It doesn't really feel like it gets in the way of anything.
It's true.
It's an interesting way to discover photography. It's almost more similar to the small film camera bodies.
I haven't decided yet. I was going to ask... And by the time this goes live, the decision will have already been made.
There you go. No spoilers.
Yeah, so Obviously, at this point, I either have to cut this or do something, because saying you're going to do something isn't, I mean, yes, it is the thought that counts, but now there's pressure.
Well, now you're going to stick to it, aren't you?
Yeah, I will. And I was always going to. I was humming and hawing, and I just always think, for something like this, because we haven't been together that long, but she's really, she likes doing it, and we don't see each other all that often. So if she has it while I'm not there, she might go out for walks. She might, like, one day say, hey, look at this, and actually, like, impress me with something. She you know what I mean.
Digging yourself a hole.
A little bit.
Yeah.
No, she did really well. My profile picture is hers.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
She impressed that way.
It's got to be impressive enough.
But when I see her shooting, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a photo of the sunset. Like, I am not shooting. If I'm not shooting with her, I'll be 100% surprised. I'll be like, what did you shoot today? Well, I went to the mall, and there was a dog, and I took a photo of a dog. Right? Like, you never know. Which
leads me to the side of getting a camera that's a bit more inconspicuous. I don't know. Is she the kind of person that would get up in someone's face with a camera, or someone's dog's face with a camera? No.
When we were at Portaluzzi, there was ducks and geese, and I got a little closer, and I'm happy with my photo. The geese are okay, and she kept her distance. My photo's better. Nobody got hurt.
No.
Right?
Man, those geese suck. Although they're easy to... I'm not going to brag or nothing, but I got to my minimum focusing distance every time I went to go there. I have pictures of, like, geese eyeballs, and then they try to peck at you, so it gets kind of annoying.
I'll stay away.
Yeah.
But she stayed clear, so I don't think she'd be one to go and take a picture of a person. So street photography, to an extent, is out, unless we send her with you in Florida. Because you taught me a little bit too.
It'd be fun to bring, like, a film camera or something to Florida.
Do it.
I can't do street photography anymore with the DSLR. It's just so much more fun with a film camera. Just something with the instantaneous nature of the photo. You're not relying at all on autofocus or anything like that if using an old manual camera.
I'm excited for that pier that's by our hotel. Like, if there's pier, there's going to be lights, and I bet you we could get some good nighttime photos of people having fun. So it'll be neat, I think. And with all of us being at least interested in it, I think one night we could shoot for a bit, go back and be like, we did this, and then go back and get drunk. Or whatever.
Should be interesting.
No, it'll be fun. And stay tuned to find out what happens with Melissa's camera. I don't know.
Does she watch any of this?
No. So even if I didn't get her anything, chances are she wouldn't hear. That'd be a horrible thing to find out like 6 months later. She was like,
damn, I could have had a camera.
I finally listened to your podcast. What'd you think? Not that she would ever hit me. I realized that was just a bad thing. It's like, you were going to buy me a camera? I was, but there was one there already. Why do it if...
I mean, if I'm sticking to the side. If you're going to get her a DSLR, T2i is a great camera. And it's not... You don't get anything really out of getting a new Rebel.
If I could find a 60D online...
60Ds, that's the upgrade to something that's more enthusiast-oriented.
Well, she's been doing well with this, even just photos. I showed her a little bit of video, because obviously we're going to shoot our parent documentary. We'll see how well that goes.
Yeah, I don't think...
Yeah, I'm going to GoPro a little bit, and I'll piece something together. I'll try to be a little bit more mindful without being a douche. GoPro.
Like every vlogger ever.
Yeah. But no, if I could find a 60D or something like that, or a T2i, I was surprised at, because I don't really look at them anymore. I look, like I see, hey, maybe somebody has a 5D Mark III for whatever. Yeah. So I kind of search for those. And the price really hasn't come down enough for me to think, well, if I upgraded to the Mark III, then somebody's second shooting could be the Mark II, and then we've already improved tenfold again. I messaged somebody who was selling a Mark III body only for $1,700, and I said, hey, could you do this?
Okay. Price to begin with, yeah.
Yeah, and he said no, so if I don't need it, I'm not going to fight for it.
No.
But if he had agreed to the undisclosed price that I had offered right away, because there is merit to getting the money right away. instead of waiting for 6 months.
Depends who you are, really.
That's true. I'm sometimes greedy, depending on what we're doing. But no, he said no. That's no big deal. That gimbal, I sent a message just to see if it was available, just because it's neat. I've never seen one with follow focus. I want a Steadicam rig with follow focus.
I didn't look into it much, but I'd be curious as to how well it would function.
With the gimbal?
Specifically using the follow focus at the same time as the gimbal.
But the way I feel like they're holding it wrong, I think there'd be a different way to hold it, because they seem to be holding it like it's a...
Like they're focusing or zooming or something.
Well, because it's... I agree with the one video that Tila showed. It was like the ergonomics of these are sometimes wrong because it's just this metal rod with the gimbal on top, and now there's a follow focus. So I can see how you could control it with the thumb.
Yeah.
And depending on the camera, you might be able to hold it with one hand, but once it's a Mark II or the 7D or anything else, you'll need two hands.
It's hard to be stable even with a gimbal for a DSLR like that.
The video footage that it's got has been really good, and then it does have controls, so you can make it pan and tilt while you're standing. So it's a fairly nice one. That being said, the one on Kijiji really wasn't on sale all that much.
No,
I found it elsewhere for roughly the same price.
It was a new item. In box.
I can't remember.
Yeah, if stuff's new and in box, specifically like on a Kijiji or Craigslist, it's never a good deal. Usually it's just some kind of retailer trying to find a different way to sell it.
Yeah.
So it's all the same.
But just kind of neat. I always look and listen to see what's still available out there that might help. The Steadicam was a neat little investment.
Anything in the number D line of Canon stuff is going to be a step up from any Rebel camera, really. Even an old like 40D or something still ergonomically is pretty decent. Although, what was the first one with a tilty flippy screen? I don't know if it was. It might have been the 50D or something, but 60D nailed it. 70D got better in the autofocus department, and that was...
ADD can't focus.
It can't? What do you mean? Oh, ADD. That's a good joke, actually. The funny part is it can focus better than anything.
Oh, it can focus very well.
Geez, the ADD is a hell of a camera.
Yeah.
Dynamic range performance is outstanding. Oh, nothing. I mean, really, it seems like the perfection of what the 60D was at the time. Really, it's probably my favorite camera in the Canon lineup. Unfortunately, APS-C, but oh well, maybe with the 5D Mark III will be what everybody's hoping for.
5D Mark
5 is what I was thinking. I was thinking in Roman numerals, and I just started mixing them.
5D Mark 5.
Sounds strange.
Yeah, I don't know. 5D Mark 5. 5D. I don't know how they'll market that.
I mean, there is a 1D Mark 1, isn't there? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But 5D Mark 5, it sounds okay. If they're okay with marketing their camera, when you say it quickly, as the ADD, without, like, I'm not the first person to make that joke. It's a camera joke, so people took to it, and they were fine with it. So 5D Mark 5. And then, of course, once they get to 10, it'll be the 5D Mark X.
Probably, if they're going to... Everybody's copying Apple with that.
Which sounds badass. Won't have any buttons. It's all touchscreen.
Let's see if Canon and Nikon survive that long.
Well, when was the Mark III released? Because the Mark II was 2008 or 2009.
Mark III was like 2011 or 2012.
So there was a giant gap between the Mark III and Mark IV.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's dependent on whether or not it came out in 2008 or 2009, because that's 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. No, it usually gets refreshed at about that rate for that line of cameras so far.
No, I don't know. I don't get gear envy anymore. I'm happy with the Mark II. Even now, it's still a respected camera, right? It's a little old. It's going on 9 years. Still works fine. Still works great.
The only problem really with the Mark II is just the ergonomics aren't like a modern camera. It doesn't. The buttons are laid out a bit differently than pretty much all of the Canons for some reason.
It's funny because it was never meant to be the video beast that it was.
Yes.
And then it came in and everyone was like, holy shit.
It's great, yeah. Full frame video.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's sort of taken for granted with all the mirrorless cameras. Sony does it really well. I mean, you have other form factors too that aren't full frame, but yeah, they tend to do it quite well.
Unrelated question, but I have to ask just because I am curious about your opinions on things, and I do want to mention that I don't know if addressing the camera is normal. I've never been in a situation where I've been able to break the fourth wall.
As long as you cut the camera angle to yourself at that point in time, I think it works.
Okay.
If it was just focused on me and I was looking at the camera and you were talking, that'd be weird.
That would be weird. I am 100% talking about a friend.
Okay.
Okay? This isn't a friend of mine. Well, this is a friend of mine.
You're not going to say this is a hypothetical situation.
No, this is a very real situation.
Okay.
But it has nothing to do with me or my mindset. I'm just looking for your opinion.
Okay.
So, with that in mind, when do you think is there even a socially appropriate time to propose to somebody?
Socially appropriate. So you mean
if you start
a time when your friends and family would accept a decision you make?
If you start dating in January of 2018,
yeah.
When is it socially acceptable so your friends won't think, holy shit, that's quick, and you won't think, maybe we should have rethought this?
It's gray. Yeah, it depends a lot on the situation. I feel like if you're older, it could happen a lot quicker. If you're in your 40s, you could probably figure that out in a couple months of like, oh my God, I don't want to kill myself living with this person.
That's true.
But no, it's weird too. Like, even though I've been in a relationship for well over a year at this point, I think that if I proposed, there'd be so many family members and friends that I rarely talk to be like, oh my God, I never even met this person yet. This is so quick. But not relative to my time scale. If a young couple even is dating for 2 years, I'll say that 2 years. I don't think anybody's going to be that surprised if they announce that they're going to get married.
So what do you define as a young couple? Like 21, 22?
Like 20 years old,
okay.
But 20 to 25, something like that. 2 years, you could probably figure it out. And lots of people make still bad decisions, but
that's true.
That's just how it goes.
You learn from experience, and I know that, say, the relationship I'm in now is healthier than any relationship I've been in before. Mm-hmm. So I'm more comfortable with that because I've watched for the warning signs.
It's easy to figure
a lot of them. And now that there's no red flags, I get to go into situations where there's like the normal relationship thing where you're learning new things about them. And for the first time, and again, assuming that she doesn't listen to these, for the first time ever, she said something and we didn't debate it because it's like a religious debate.
Okay. Well,
it's not quite religion. I'll explain after. I'll tell you specifically after the show.
Sure.
Not to keep people in suspense, but
lots of things that nobody's allowed to know this episode.
It's also one of those things that it's just kind of between you and me because she doesn't. You wouldn't think it. It's misrepresented in the social community that people who believe this are weird. And she and I were talking because we were.
She's a flat earther.
Yes.
Okay.
And I thought she was joking, and then she wasn't.
Yeah.
And she didn't debate why, but she's just like it's what I believe. And for the first time ever, I wasn't watching a video at a convention. I wasn't having somebody shove it down my throat. She was just like, this is what I believe. And then when you think about it, how does that affect anything? I admit I was just slightly weirded by it a little bit.
By somebody's differing opinion to you? Just
because that's the first time I've ever heard that from somebody I know. I've had friends who are gay. I've had friends who have believed that, there is 100% without a doubt a God and stuff like that. Oh. But she is the first. I was
gonna make a joke if you didn't say that. It's like, I have friends who think there's a God.
But this is the first time I've ever had somebody, I think, that is normal that has said that. And then it doesn't affect your day-to-day life.
So you still haven't brought up what this topic is? or the flat Earth thing is legit?
Oh, no, the flat Earth thing.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
But she's so normal.
Oh, well, I know.
She doesn't...
Again, I don't know, whatever. People who believe in a magic man who sees everything in the sky, they live normal lives. Yeah. They're normal people.
So, for the first time ever, I met somebody and I got thinking, it doesn't matter because I love this person. I mean, it doesn't. It might when we
got to become. This is going to lead to so many conversations from Tila and I. You know this.
Yes, but unless she brings it up, let's keep it between the two of you. Because
it's on the podcast.
Yeah, I know that. But I've got 5 weeks of wiggle room to prove that it's not flat.
If we have any fans that know who we are, they could just reach out and tell her that we said this.
That's true. Yeah. Except we're very divided on social media. We're not in a relationship on social media. She you may know her full name, but other than that. Plus, we have yet to have a YouTube comment or anything like that. If somebody does,
I go on every video and I like it.
I'll be impressed. If somebody does take the time to message her, I'll be impressed.
The internet's
as long as it's not you.
The internet is a very creepy. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. The internet's a very creepy place. You know, if we get to go into Florida and it still hasn't been brought up yet, I'm going to tell Tila. So we're going to sort of organically try to slip it into the conversation. It's like, wow, we can't even see the curvature of the Earth yet from this drive. I wonder why that might be.
The weird thing about it is she didn't, like, there was no debate.
There was no debate. What do you mean?
Well, when you think about something like that, it's not necessarily a hot button topic, but it's something that nowadays...
It's very relevant these days.
It's very relevant. But when you meet somebody or you watch them on YouTube or anything like that, they are very passionate about it.
Nah.
They go to conventions.
Yeah, sure. But a lot of them are very passive in that, like, look, just watch these videos, you'll know the truth. And then they go on with whatever YouTube channel they have. Instead of constantly talking about flat Earth. Unless that's their thing. Unless they're a flat Earth scientist.
And then there's her. We were talking about it. She mentioned it. But there was no... She's not like, I believe it because of this. Which, to an extent, may not be a good thing because she just has this belief. But at the same time, you believe in God because of what? Because it's what you're told.
Well, see, God... Well, a lot of people would say faith. But here's the thing. Here's a good experiment. You should ask her, what evidence would be suffice enough to prove or disprove your theory? What would you have to look for to be more sure of your opinion or to be entirely refute the opinion you currently have? And pretty much nobody can make this leap of logical faith. I don't know. Humans just are really, really resistive to change and the things that they already believe.
Because
I'd be curious what she says.
I'd be curious too, just because in my opinion, if you really wanted to, you learn how to, like, I think it was Shaq who believes that his pilots are in on it, and that's how he can fly around the world without actually flying around the world. So if that's the case, become a pilot. Go through pilot training.
Yeah, and then you figure out how to navigate a flat Earth.
The world.
Yeah.
And if you go, and it keeps on going, and you end up at point A, again, after multiple stops to fuel up, depending on the plane you're in, that should prove it.
Should.
Without any, I don't know. So it's an interesting thing. I'm now kind of regretting bringing this up. Does it change your overall opinion? Because we're now traveling with her for a week.
Yeah, it does. And I'm gonna inquire.
But is it a bad opinion?
I don't know. I don't care really. I really don't have much attachment to what other people believe. I think that's a big problem with a lot of the social movements that are going on now. It's everybody to think the same thing as me, and if you don't, you're a whatever. I don't care. That doesn't affect my life in the slightest. If someone
not at all. That. And on a day-to-day basis, when you're not teaching children geography,
don't teach children geography if you're a flat earther.
Right. We'll leave that to our. I can only imagine. Could you imagine? Like,
what do you do with it? You can't use a globe.
I don't know. Use a map because the entire world is.
But it's a projection of a sphere.
But the world is flat on the map.
Yeah, but it's very distorted.
Oh, it is. I don't know, but I got thinking about it when she told me, because she's still a good person. She's never killed anybody. She's never done anything like that.
So far as you know.
As far as I know. So, it's what she believes. I believe in some things that people don't necessarily agree with. Not that they're as hot button.
I could probe you. What are some of these things? It'd be a change of topic, but what's one of these things that you think you would want to debate right now?
Well, there's not necessarily a debate. Like, I have a hard time believing in God, but
yeah,
I also firmly believe, as I've mentioned before, that you die twice. But it shouldn't matter.
That's a philosophical thing, though.
Yes, but I mean, people,
and it's technically true. If you can call the second thing dying, if you can call the last time somebody utters your name dying, then sure, that happens twice.
Hopefully YouTube in some capacity is around forever, and then this podcast is immortalized.
Definitely not going to be around forever.
Facebook is not going to be around forever. Holy shit.
Yeah. If you get all existential about it, nothing's forever, see?
Actually, not changing the topic that much, but Facebook, do you know you can download your profile?
Yes. I've been thinking about doing it.
Do it. It is
very interesting.
done it? Yeah.
Oh. What did you find out about yourself?
This isn't deflecting against being probed or anything, but maybe my beliefs aren't that bizarre, and maybe they are more philosophical than anything. Every single conversation I've had, in like coded HTML, which actually makes it more convenient now when I want to see what I said to somebody years ago.
Yes.
Because now it's just one web page. I don't have to scroll up. It's just a block of text. Every picture that has been posted, friends list.
What about like private ones or ones you deleted?
Private ones are there.
Yeah, it makes sense because they're still attached to your profile.
Deleted ones aren't there. Videos are there. Videos and photos that you've sent in messages are there, which is weird.
How do they have that much storage capacity? It's a lot of information.
Well, you think I've been on Facebook for like since 2008, 2009.
Okay.
And there was 9 gigs of data on me. Not a lot. And all the photos are heavily, heavily compressed at this point. Same
with the video. It must be. Yeah. Okay.
None of it's usable. None of it would be like, shit, I deleted this video. I better get it from Facebook. No. If I absolutely needed to, I could, but it is just compressed to shit.
Yes.
But still, that's a lot. I can go back to the first time Tila and I spoke, way back, after her not being my friend on Facebook and being blocked. I can go all the way back to 2010. Which is insane.
Is it really convenient to view this kind of information? Like, how was it to get
to
that point?
I download something, it compiles for about half an hour. It says, we'll let you know when it's ready for download. So once they let me know, I downloaded it. It was a zip file. It was like a 4.5, 5 gig zip file. And when I opened it up, it was divided into sections like messages, photos, videos, contacts, and stuff like that. It also showed me who I have blocked, which I know you can on Facebook as well.
But it's quicker, I bet, that way.
Yeah, because I can never remember who to see who I have blocked. And now I look at this list and I'm like, I remember why. So once it's done like that, you can go in. There's no personal information on the surface level. Like, if I go into the messages, you're not going to see conversation with Tila Airdrie, conversation with Eric Gervais, until you click. Even on the Apple computer, when you hit the spacebar to preview it, that's where you can see conversation with Tila Airdrie. But when it's just a file, it's a number.
Okay.
Now, that being said, if I search Tila Airdrie, bing, she's 242. I click it. It's a web file. It goes right to Chrome. It opens up. It's a very simple version. Tila's on the right or left. I'm on the right, and I can just scroll through.
Yeah.
So for cataloging and thinking,
can you just save all the information that's already there to your computer and you have it locally? It's kind of useful, actually.
Yeah.
Like if you were presumably to get banned from Facebook, you might have access to old records and things.
Pictures and stuff like that.
So don't have to worry as much about a dead account.
I didn't find... Some people said that it could track... Like, it tracks your messages, which makes sense. Some people said that the application would track your phone calls and stuff like that, which I couldn't find.
The audio part. Well, you would see when the call was initiated.
Yes, you could.
And when it ended.
And that's another thing I got, which is really fucked up, actually. I got all the audio files that you send to people.
Yeah.
So when people send audio messages on the messenger, I'd get it, and I have a collection of audio messages. So
I don't even remember if anybody's ever sent me one of those, but
I have a few times.
Find out quick.
Yeah. So very neat, but nothing in it made me think, I'm done. Like, this is too freaky. It's all stuff that, in my mind, when I signed up, I knew, because most of it's public. I mean, the messages aren't public.
Yeah.
But the pictures that I'm looking at, you can go find.
Yes.
So I'm not giving up that much personal information in that. I'm not downloading something and being like, shit, they knew that I poked so-and-so. Like, I didn't get that. I'm sure they do. That would be a friggin' boring thing to read through. March 8th, Jesse poked this. April 15th, Jesse, just a wall of text of who you poked and who poked you.
I'm sure their algorithms cut that stuff out when they're
you would think
going through your information.
I mean, that seems kind of monotonous.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, that was kind of neat. And as far as the belief systems go, I'm trying to think of anything that would stir up any sort of conversation, and I really can't. I do firmly believe that you die twice. I think that legacy building is very important, including dynasty building, none of which, I mean, as you said, it's all philosophical.
That's a business thing, but, well, kind of.
Dynasty is family, too. You can build a family dynasty.
Yeah. Well, there's politics that go into that. I don't know.
I mean, it's harder, but if I were to make $1 billion, that would set up, hopefully, a few generations, as long as they're not retards.
Well, they're going to be, because they're going to have stupid amounts of money at their disposal.
No, they won't. I'm good. They'll see it around them, but they'll have to work for it.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
In my will, it'll say
kids
that there will be a executor of the will that'll be a younger person, and they will be on the payroll, and every kid will only get $10,000 per year for the rest of their natural born life.
That's still a decent amount of money.
Well, if I was a billionaire, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But $10,000 a year is nothing compared to $1 billion.
Yeah.
So they'd still have to be financially conscious, and they'd have to be healthy, because they'd be like, crap, if I die when I'm 60, all the rest of the money goes to charity. I got to live till I'm 90. That's like $300,000.
An incentive to live by money.
So no, there's that. 100%. If you... Okay, this is a hot button issue that I have problems with at least visualizing.
Okay.
The gender thing. We haven't really talked about that.
No.
I get...
So what part of it?
The whole 72 different genders.
That's going to the extreme, really.
That's what they say. They say there's 72. I think. Don't quote me on that. Could you imagine if you had to be 100% politically correct and you were going to build a restaurant and you had to have 72 bathrooms? You would just have to have a gender neutral bathroom at that point, but then that's
what they want.
But they're not... Yeah, and that's fine. But then you're not really... You're
not acknowledging.
You're not acknowledging. You're just neutralizing the genders. Where do you fall on that? Do you think that it's male and female, or do you think they're like biologically?
I think all human distinctions are arbitrary distinctions. I think biologically it makes sense to have category of male and category female. But then you have category intersex or something like that, and that's a whole... There's a ton of disorders that would fall into the intersex category. It's so much easier just to split things up into things you know. And since intersex is such an infrequent thing, you could almost ignore it for most people, unless of course you are intersex or you are related to somebody who's intersex, and it somehow becomes relevant to your own life. As far as gender, what they're getting at is mostly the expressions of gender in this 72 genders or whatever number it is today.
It's very much what it is. It could be more, but
I tend to pride facts over feelings. Now, again, it's not always possible to establish facts, but I don't know. And I don't think it's even that important. Even if there are 72 genders that we can distinctly verify using the scientific method, I don't think it matters. Not really. Hasn't really mattered much till now.
Well, that's just it. If you, I think it's the problem I have with some things. I think if you want to be recognized as, I keep seeing this video pop up on Facebook. I think it's a joke. But if you want to be recognized in every way except physical as a wolf, that's fine. That is if you want to do that. I feel like it's fake, but I haven't done the research for it. Just don't let it affect wolves theoretically.
But the betterment, if people believe in some kind of betterment society, that does matter. You can't have people doing that. It's not gonna fit an ideal plan unless you believe everybody should be wolfkin or something.
Theoretically, they should just go live in the woods.
Wouldn't work so well.
No, it wouldn't.
No.
Then it'd be one less person to worry about. Not that I'm saying he should die. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying for something like that, if you want to do it, that's fine. But it shouldn't. If you're proud of what you are, that's fine. But that doesn't exempt you. Maybe it does. If you identify as a wolf, you shouldn't have to get a job.
But nobody has to get a job.
That's true. And if you're a wolf, you don't have to get a job, but you have to hunt for your food.
Yeah.
If you kill somebody, that's illegal.
But
you identify as a wolf. So it's not illegal, but then we can poach you. We can shoot you.
People kill wolves who kill people.
Yeah.
It's a pretty standard procedure.
That's actually a tough one.
There's an old Vsauce episode about disappearing. And it goes through a bit of the process of if you just wanted to disappear, lose all your forms of identification, just do whatever you want, independent society, you can do it. There's people who do it all the time. A lot of them end up, just being homeless or whatever. But yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with doing that. I thought it was a really cool. I mean, Vsauce in general is a gold mine.
Oh yeah,
really got me thinking when I was a teenager, I would say.
No, he has some good ones. He's also had the fortune of being a very, very good interview person on Joe Rogan as well. He was on, I can't remember how long ago, but he had a good lengthy interview.
You're talking about Vsauce Michael?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him on Joe Rogan. I have to watch that.
While.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Now, because I guess if anybody doesn't know, there's 3 Vsauce channels. The second one is a lot of gaming-oriented stuff. Well, no, I guess the third one's more game-oriented. I don't know. It's a mix. Just watch them. You'll figure it out.
Oh, they're very good. Everything is very good.
Michael, I mean, it was the start of Vsauce, essentially. And that brings me back to being in, I guess, early high school for his videos. I'm going to look up Vsauce Joe Rogan. And I'm going to put that in the watch later.
Yeah. Good show.
Episode 528.
Yeah, you missed it by almost 700.
That's a lot back there.
Yeah.
And he was on there just once.
I think just once.
Just once. Got to... Hey, even Philip DeFranco was on.
Yes, he was.
Rogan. I didn't see that one.
I know, you kind of introduced me to him, and now I listen...
It's hard to watch when there's 1,000 episodes.
Well, he pumps out
now
hours upon hours upon hours a week.
When I started watching him regularly, it was probably around episode 600. And at that point, when I was watching older episodes, they'd be sporadic. They'd just be random numbers here and there. And I guess I missed
his
people.
A business. Millions of views. But when you think about it, watching Joe Rogan is a part-time job. It's a good one. And it's good for people who travel. Mm-hmm. You drive a lot. I wish I knew about him way in my earlier baby photo days. But no, very. I guess the gender thing. Joe Rogan's very good. The gender thing. If you want to do it, it's fine.
He has lots of guests that are fun to talk about.
Yes, he does.
Stuff with.
But you'd have to tell them ahead of time. You'd need a release form and whatnot.
It's not a paid thing. Do you?
When we did
model release forms are.
If they say I never agreed to be on it, or I didn't, even though that it's very obvious if you're sitting here, you know you're being recorded.
There's two DSLRs with there's a 24-70 f2.8, which is huge. Mm-hmm. It's a kit lens, and another GoPro with a ring light around it and 2 fluorescent light stands.
But I feel like telling them that we do it in a respectful way, because everything should be done in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Bring them in and say, we just want to talk. We actually want to know, but we want other people to know what it's about.
Yeah. Why not? Why reach just 2 of us when you could reach 5 of us?
Yeah. I mean, even at that point, it's very economic. It's
spreading faster. Maybe they'll start making YouTube videos.
Maybe they'll pay us to do it for them.
I have no moral conscious dilemma about that. I don't care what your religion is. I will make you a promotional.
Well, that's just it. Going to Rome, that was a purely religious thing, and the entire time I was thinking, okay, born and raised Catholic, I have problems with that. These guys are nuts.
Yeah,
but
if you are
a paycheck,
it's a paycheck. If you are a Satanist, contact us. We'll make a promo video of your Satanist cult.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
If you do exorcisms, contact us as well.
Yeah, people love that shit.
Yeah, they do. It would get a lot of views. Be the most viewed ever.
We got to shoot it in a way that's like Vice-esque, because they tend to cover that stuff too.
I still say we should try to interview, even if we have to blur her out, a stripper or something.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities.
So many possibilities. I think we should probably wrap up for the night. I'm tired.
Yeah, and I'm feeling like I need to go to bed.
And I want to end on a note of possibilities, because I'll listen to this when I'm editing the podcast.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing. Drone's good. We didn't offend anybody, I don't think.
I hope we did.
Well,
not doing our jobs, we did.
Flat Earth, all that stuff, and
a fun car ride.
I may have to go buy a camera. We'll be respectful about it. She doesn't have a defense. That's the problem. It's going to be boring when you say, why do you believe it? And she says she just does. Like, you don't want to piss her off, because that's going to be for an awkward ride.
You inquire, be like, when did you first hear about it?
I feel like you'd be okay with it. I feel like Tila will come on too strong.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, maybe when Tila's not around.
Because Tila and the last major girlfriend didn't get along after a certain point, and they both were too strong.
On that note.
Yes. Have a good night. Next week, we're in Florida. Well, Nashville, actually, on a bar.
On our way to Florida.
Yeah, on our way. So, tune in.
Have a good night.
Oh, and the stuff below, because we said we were going to do that. So, here's where you can find us, myself, Instagram and whatnot, and Eric's Instagram right there. So, there we go. Have a good night.